What's going on, guys? Biznix here. Today we're going to be talking about the combat shotgun and Vortex rifle, probably the best class setup in Doom right now. Now before I go any further, I just want you to know, subscribing to my channel will grant you daily Doom access and Star Wars Battlefront access on a daily basis. And also, if you ever want me to do something in particular, like a tips and tricks video or class setup, then let me know in a comment. And finally, if you ever want to play with me, then let me know and I'll be able to get my appropriate information to you. But without further ado, let's jump right into this best class setup. So like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be doing several of these over the course of the next couple of days. But for this particular class setup, it's going to be based around the average player that likes to have the ability to snipe but also run in and do a lot of damage very quickly. So obviously the combat shotgun is when you're going to be running in and actually attacking people at a close range, where your Vortex rifle is going to be your longer range weapon. And so let's first talk about the combat shotgun, then we'll talk about the Vortex rifle. Now, having already made a weapon profile on the combat shotgun, I'm not going to repeat everything I said in that video. If you really want to know, check it out. There'll be a link in the description to see it. But we're just going to talk about sort of the basics to it. It shoots an unlimited amount of shells, and it's just a pump action shotgun, so there's no reloading. It's not like the actual super shotgun where you have to wait, and there's like a cooldown. People say you're not reloading with it, but really in the animation you are, so that's what I'm trying to say, you are reloading. But also, basically you're shooting shells and you can shoot grenades. Using the weapon special, you can launch a grenade projectile at enemies, and there's AoE damage, so it does a lot of splash damage, which is good, especially whenever you're playing on those bigger maps where you have to shoot down on enemies, or where you have to shoot across like lava pits or something. It's one of the better things to use with this weapon. Now with this weapon, you definitely want to keep your distance a small amount of distance, because people using the super shotgun will kill you over people using combat shotguns. This combat shotgun does require a lot of skill. What you really want to do is you want to launch the grenade before the enemy knows that you're initiating the fight, and then you want to start shooting them with the shells, because you can do more damage with the grenade than you can with the shells. And so, but it does take a longer time to reload the grenade, whereas with the shells you're like shooting, whereas with the grenade you're not. So definitely in fights you kind of want to keep your minimum range requirements, because super shotguns will one-shot you, whereas if you're at a decent distance they will not really affect you, and you'll be able to do a lot of damage really fast to them. So for overall with the combat shotgun, I find that you're getting way more damage off way faster than a lot of closer range weapons in this game right now, especially when you're comparing it to the super shotgun. If you're closer ranges, you are going to be doing a lot more damage than the super shotgun can at a faster rate, because the super shotgun does a lot of damage but doesn't do it that fast. Whereas if you are at a decent distance from the enemy, then you are going to be doing a lot of damage very fast. Moving on to the Vortex rifle, this is one of your best snipers in the game. You basically can use this when you're running around. You can, one-shot people if you really are like really good at aiming. But what makes this weapon so great is the fact that you can actually aim with it, and the longer you're aiming down the sights, you can actually charge your shot, and whenever you hit an enemy, it can do anywhere from like 60 to 120 damage, which is insane and is a lot of damage in this game if you don't know. But you have 100 HP, and then you have your armor, which can go up to 100 HP, or 100 hit points essentially. So doing 120 damage one shot is amazing. The only downfall with the aiming down the sights with this weapon is the fact that enemies sort of can see where you're aiming, so there's a line that's going across. If any of you have ever played Halo 4, then it's sort of like the binary rifle, where you can actually see where the actual laser is pointing. But overall, if you aim fast enough, you're going to be able to hit your enemies and do a lot of damage really fast. When you're not aiming, you can actually hit enemies for a solid 30 damage, and especially if you are shooting someone with your combat shotgun and then they decide to flee and you can't get the damage off, or you miss a grenade, switch to your Vortex rifle right away and snipe them down. because, like I said, you're going to get that damage off really fast, and it's pretty accurate. It doesn't sway, and the velocity of the shot is very fast, so you're going to be able to land it and hit it very, very good. And so that's why using this combo is probably the best in the game right now. Finally, we're just going to talk about the equipment piece that would probably be best with this weapon, and I'm going to say it's simply the frag grenade, only because getting that extra explosion damage off on an enemy, plus using your grenade on your combat shotgun, can honestly kill an enemy without you even having to fire a shot. So it's definitely probably the best. The only other one I can possibly think of would be the actual shield wall, where you can throw it down the doorway, and if the enemy is ballsy enough to actually chase you, you can either throw a grenade, or not throw a grenade, you can shoot a grenade at the wall, and when they're climbing over it, it'll essentially probably kill them. So it's probably works really well with those two. Other than that, you could use siphon grenade, but you're not going to get as much damage off, and it really depends on, I guess, on the game type that you're playing on at the first time. But other than that, that is this class setup. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. It was a lot of fun to make, and I'm just trying to bring good content to you guys, so the only way you can show appreciation to me is by liking videos. And remember to subscribe, because I'll be posting every day. But without further ado, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.